We'll start it with Elon Musk's bid to buy Twitter, the on-again, off-again romance between the most important billionaire and everyone's least favorite but most important social media website, Twitter, in the effort to get out of his attempt to buy Twitter. Some texts have come to light between Elon Musk and many other people, some of which describe his intent to create a blockchain-based social media platforms. Now, for the crypto-native social media crowd, the really deep in their crypto-native crowd, there's nothing new to the idea of a blockchain-based social media protocols. But the fact that Elon, the world's biggest and brashest billionaire, was just thinking about these things in relation to his attempt to buy Twitter is something worth paying attention to. Now, Zach, what do you think? Should we be having some sort of Twitter on the blockchain where everyone's messages live forever? I know there are some people in crypto Twitter who prefer to delete their messages. That might be hard on the blockchain.
I just think public documents are a wonderful, wonderful thing because now we get to see all the people that Elon was texting with. And there's a great cast of characters in here. We got Joe Rogan. We got Gayle King. What the hell? We got SBF and his people. There's all sorts. This is like pulling the curtain back on like the halls of power in American business. It's fascinating. So I think beyond that, though, it's crazy that there was reality to Elon's early desire to make this more of a Web3 social protocol, right? A protocol like Signal, I think is mentioned in one of them. And he was looking for people who would rally around that vision. Now, Web3 social to date has yet to take off in a meaningful way, right? We live in a platform world. We seem to be pretty happy with our experiences on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook and all these giant platforms that exist and control our data. And as such, there's been some experiments to get away from that, but none of them have clicked. Is Elon the guy, that guy, to make it all work? Time will tell. It's hard to say. I don't see it necessarily working. Danny, I think you're right to mention like immutability. That's not necessarily that something are especially fond of. I'm not one of the people, but many people are like, when Twitter edit button. That doesn't really work on blockchain-based systems, right? So whether or not the time has come for Web3 social, I'm not especially bullish on that. But the fact that big, powerful people are thinking about it as a way to get around some of the ills that our big platform realities have brought upon us is fascinating. And it's fascinating to see it unfiltered in the form of text messages between very powerful people. Jen, I saw your hand. I'm really curious for your thoughts on this one.
Well, I went through all the text messages to find out what Gayle King was texting Elon about, and she just really wants an interview. I felt her pain. She was in there. She was excited. She was like, when are we going to talk about this Twitter deal? And Elon gave the same way he gave everyone else, very one-worded answers, I think, as we can expect from Elon. It was amazing to just kind of see how he communicates when it's not in front of a camera lens. When it comes to Web3 social media, I was reading the story and thinking about how I might operate if I was using Web3 social media. And the immutability thing is one side of it. But paying for every post, I understand that it helps eliminate bots. It helps eliminate scammers. It helps ensure that content is quality. But I think that a lot of people might think twice if they had to pay even just a little bit of money to post to social media. And I think it might do a disservice to when it comes to accessing information and creators publishing their content to see what works and doesn't work. I have experimented a little bit with LensTube, which is Lens Protocol's version of YouTube. And I've thought twice about publishing videos on there because I have to pay even just a little bit of money. Maybe I'm cheap, but that's just my opinion on it. Will, what do you think?
Yeah, you sound pretty cheap to me. The SBF stuff was the most interesting thing to me. They're talking about like, Canadian dollars are down against dollar right now. I can't blame you.
Exactly.
No, I think the SBF texts are really interesting here and informative, right? Because SBF wants to talk to Elon. They go back and forth. Elon's very short. He's like, a lot of people want to talk to me. I don't know if I really care. And then they get into a little bit about the Twitter discussion, right? And within that, they say that SBF is interested in building some sort of decentralized Twitter alternative on a blockchain. And Elon immediately shoots it down. It says, you can't do this. Like, it's not going to be decentralized enough. If you're going to do this, you're going to have these super nodes and to process all these transactions. And that's not going to work because then it's not decentralized. That breaks the entire point of it being a protocol, a decentralized protocol in the first place. So it's interesting to see that we got that point through to Elon because he's made a lot of different claims about crypto to date. Made a lot of comments about Dogecoin, trying to make like super node peers versus Bitcoin, saying that Bitcoin like needs to move towards like higher blocks. This is a very technical debate, but it's hilarious to see this come out through these text messages. Like these things were bopping around Bitcoin Twitter for quite a while with like Adam Back of Blockstream and other Bitcoin developers harping back at Elon saying, you have no idea what you bought. And here we see it in the text messages. Elon seems to have figured it out. Danny, I want to throw this one over to you, get your last take on it.
Yeah, I mean, going back to those texts between Elon and SPF's people, I think there was something in there where Elon said, hell, I'll just buy the whole thing or let him buy the whole thing if I can avoid this whole blockchain debate. He's kind of over it, I guess. You can see that in those texts. I was really stricken by the way, as Jed mentioned, he carried himself in these texts. It's really kind of just the way he tweets. I guess I'm not surprised at all. But when you have billions and billions of dollars and nothing to spend on it, and the world is your oyster, what else are you gonna do with your time?
One word texts to other rich people. That's the answer, Danny.
Love it.
That's the answer. One
Quote,
day.
does he have a ton of money? And
that was the best. That was the best. Does SPF have a ton of money? Let's check.
No, he's poor.
Yeah, the answer is yes.